Sometimes the highest highs are followed by his deepest lows, and I've learned that the hard way. In the moment, it felt like bliss, but looking back, it's just a cloud of regret that I can't shake off. The only thing I gained from that experience was a lesson in what not to do. I thought it was love, but it was just a fleeting high that left me feeling empty. What seemed like a moment of connection now feels like a mistake I can't undo. I didn't realize how much that moment would cost me emotionally and mentally. The feelings I had during those highs weren't real. They were just illusions I chased. What was once exciting now feels like a burden I carry every day. I thought I was escaping, but all I did was trap myself in a cycle of regrets. It felt good in the moment, but now it's just another chapter I wish I could rewrite. The euphoria faded fast, but the consequences lingered much longer. We got high together, but I didn't know it would bring me down in ways I never expected. I thought I was finding myself, but instead, I lost a piece of who I truly am. It seemed harmless, but sometimes the smallest mistakes create the biggest regrets. The haze of that moment only made me blind to the truth of what was happening. I thought we were soaring together, but we were both falling without even realizing it. In the end, the only thing I learned from that high was how much better life is when you're grounded. What felt like freedom was really just an illusion I chased with someone who didn't truly care. I got lost in the high, but now I'm just trying to find my way back to myself. It's funny how something that felt so right in the moment can turn out to be the worst decision. The weight of regret is heavier than any high I ever experienced with you. We got high on everything except what really mattered. It was a rush I couldn't control, and now I can't escape the fallout. In the end, the highs faded, but the emotional scars are still with me. I gave away a part of myself in that moment, and I can't seem to get it back. You can't undo the damage caused by chasing a high with someone who didn't have your best interests at heart. It was a fleeting moment of joy, but the aftermath lingers far longer than I ever expected. Sometimes the people you think will lift you up only drag you further down. The highs didn't heal me, they just distracted me from the real issues I was avoiding. We were both high, but neither of us truly saw what we were doing. It was a temporary escape, but now I'm left with the reality of what I lost. I thought I was growing, but now I see I was just running from my problems. I took the risk, and now I'm left counting the cost of what seemed like a harmless decision. Chasing highs only left me feeling more lost and disconnected from what truly mattered. In that haze, I thought I was finding something, but all I found was emptiness. It was a brief high, but the consequences stretch far beyond what I ever imagined. What seemed like an escape was actually a trap I set for myself. I wanted to feel alive, but now I feel numb to everything that came after. We got high, but I never realized how low it would leave me feeling in the end. It's hard to see clearly when you're chasing highs, and I've paid the price for that. The only thing that got high was the illusion of happiness that faded too quickly. What felt like freedom was just another form of imprisonment I didn't see coming. Sometimes the people we trust the most lead us into the deepest regrets. The thrill was brief, but the lessons I've learned are lasting. I thought it was a moment of connection, but now it feels like a mistake I can never undo. We were both high, but in the end, I felt more alone than ever. In hindsight, I see now that the high was never worth the pain it caused me later. The highs only took me further from the person I wanted to be. It was an illusion of happiness, and now I'm left with the reality of the aftermath. In those moments, I thought I was in control, but now I see how out of control I really was. The more I look back, the more I see how much I've lost in chasing that high. I thought it was the start of something beautiful, but now it's just a painful memory. Sometimes the people we think we're closest to are the ones who lead us down the darkest paths. The highs never last, but the pain of regret sure does. I thought I was escaping my problems, but now I realize I was only digging a deeper hole. It was an illusion of happiness, and now I'm just trying to find my way back to the truth. That high was a fleeting moment, but the consequences are something I have to live with. I thought we were on the same path, but now I see we were both lost in different ways. The high faded, but the truth about what I really wanted stayed with me. The thrill of that moment is long gone, but the emptiness it left behind stays with me. What once felt like a moment of freedom has turned into a prison of my own making. In the haze of it all, I couldn't see the damage I was doing to myself. That high gave me temporary relief, but it took away a piece of me I'll never get back. The highs were just a distraction, and now the silence is all I'm left with. I thought we were escaping the world together, but now I see we were just avoiding the truth. What we shared was temporary, but the regrets are permanent. In that moment, I felt alive, but now I feel like I'm barely surviving. I thought the high would take away the pain, but it only made it worse. Sometimes the biggest mistake isn't what you do, but what you fail to see in the moment. I was chasing something outside of myself, but now I realize the answers were within all along. The high was just a fleeting escape, and now I'm left facing the reality I tried to run from. We were both lost in that moment, thinking it was something special when it was just a temporary fix. The more I look back, the more I see how much I ignored in the pursuit of that high. It felt like a bond, but in reality, it was just an illusion that faded when the high wore off. I tried to fill the emptiness inside with that high, but all it did was make the void even bigger. I thought I was making a memory, but now it's just a mistake I regret deeply. We got high to forget, but now I can't seem to forget the consequences of it all. What I thought was an escape turned out to be a trap that I couldn't get out of. That high was fleeting, but the lessons I've learned will stay with me forever. It felt like a rush, but now I see it was just a moment of confusion disguised as joy. I thought it was about connection, but it was really about avoidance, and that's where I went wrong. The high faded, but the feelings of regret are still as fresh as the day it happened. I thought I was seeking freedom, but now I realize I was only looking for a way to avoid reality. That high promised an escape, but it only led me deeper into a place I didn't want to be. What once seemed like a moment of exhilaration now feels like a warning sign I ignored. I got high to feel something, but now I just feel numb to everything. We thought it was an adventure, but now it feels like a mistake I can't undo. In the moment, I was blinded by the excitement, but now the clarity of regret is all I see. What felt like an escape route turned into a dead end I can't get past. I tried to find joy in that high, but all I found was more emptiness. The high was just a temporary distraction, and the truth I was running from still remains. I thought I was sharing something beautiful, but now I know it was just a fleeting illusion. The moment may have been exciting, but the aftermath has left me questioning everything. I thought we were connecting, but really we were just escaping the things we should have faced. We chased that high together, but now I'm walking away alone, with only regret as company. That high was a brief moment of bliss, but the reality of it now feels like a weight I carry every day. I thought I was breaking free, but now I see I was just falling deeper into a trap. It seemed harmless at first, but now I'm left with the consequences that I can't ignore. We got high, but I didn't realize how much I was losing with each passing moment. The thrill was short-lived, but the effects on my heart and mind will last a lifetime. What I thought was a bond was just a brief moment of confusion disguised as connection. We were both chasing a high, but now all I have is the aftermath to deal with. That high didn't bring me closer to you. It only made me more distant from who I really am. What seemed like freedom was really just a way to escape the emotions we weren't ready to face. The thrill of the high faded quickly, but the consequences have lingered far longer than I ever imagined. I thought we were escaping, but now I see we were just hiding from ourselves. In the high, everything seemed perfect, but now I see how much of myself I lost in the process. I thought the high would fill the void, but all it did was create a deeper emptiness. It felt like we were soaring together, but now I see we were both falling without realizing it. The high was a moment of fleeting happiness, but now the reality of what I lost is hard to ignore. What felt like a brief escape has turned into a painful reminder of what went wrong. I thought I was gaining something, but all I did was lose sight of what really mattered. The euphoria of that moment faded, but the lessons learned from it will stay with me forever. What I thought was a connection was just a temporary distraction from the truth. We chased a high together, but in the end, it's left me with nothing but regret.